So guys, welcome back to another video. I'm doing something I have never done before. I'm going to be doing and giving my Premier League predictions of the 24/25 season. Here we go. For this video, we got the Premier League 24/25 tier list maker. We got champions, UCL, UEL, Conference League, mid-table, lower mid-table, relegation threatened, and relegation. We got the 20 Premier League clubs. So let's get into this. So guys, starting off with relegation, there's 3 places for relegation, and in 20th place, I got Ipswich Town. So reasoning for Ipswich Town in 20th place is 2 years ago they were in the English League 1. And then they got promoted to the English League Championship. And then they got promoted again to the Premier League, which makes me think because of back-to-back promotions that they will not survive in the Premier League, and they're just not ready for it because 2 years ago they were in the English League 1, and that is a huge hop to the Premier League, so I don't think they're ready. Now the next relegated team is going to be Southampton in 19th place. They were in the Championship last year. A few years ago, they were in the Premier League, but I just don't think they are Premier League material. Now, they may prove me wrong, but I'm just going to put them in 19th place. We're going to keep them there. Now, the third relegated team in 18th place. It may be a shocker. I'm putting Brentford. That does mean that Leicester City stays up, and I think they barely do, because I believe Brentford are going to lose Ivan Toney, and that will be a major blow. They don't know how to do anything without Ivan Toney. Last year in the Premier League, they almost went down. If Ivan Toney had not come back, they would have gone down. So that's why Brentford goes in 18th. Now, with relegation threatening and relegation looming, I'm going to put in 17th Leicester City. I think Leicester City barely stay up, just barely by maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 point margin, and this is because of their manager. Another reason is because Leicester City have been in the Premier League in, I believe it was 2015, 2016, somewhere there. Leicester City actually won the Premier League. Now, they were complete underdogs, and that may come as a shock, but they did. And that is why I believe Leicester City will stay up, and they will be making their way towards the mid-table in future seasons. Now, in 16th place, with a little bit more comfort, but not too much comfort, I want to put Everton. Now, in the past few seasons, Everton has been struggling a little bit. They've been cutting a little close. But I think with the promise of the new stadium in Liverpool, Everton are going to push through and they're going to stay up. So they will be playing in their new stadium in the Premier League. Now, on to the lower mid-table section. In 15th place, I'm going to put Nottingham Forest. I do hate to say this because I am kind of a Nottingham Forest fan. They're not my favorite team, but I do like them. And they used to be Champions League material. In the 1980s, they won the Champions League back-to-back. But with the squad they have now, I don't think they can push for the upper mid-table, but I think they will survive with enough points to feel comfortable in the Premier League. Now, in 14th place, I'm going to be putting Wolverhampton Wolves. I might have put them in 13th place or maybe even 12th, but because they lost Neto for £55 million to Chelsea, I'm going to say they go in 14th place. That was a major loss for them, and I'm not sure if they'll be able to recover fully. Now, in 13th place, I'm going to be putting Crystal Palace. This is for 2 main reasons. First, they lost Michael Olise to Bayern Munich. This was a huge loss for Crystal Palace, as he was, in my opinion, their star player, their best player last season, and he's gone. Eze might be leaving, and if they don't have either of those, they might be in trouble. They still have enough squad depth to put in a little bit of a fight to stay in the mid-table, but nothing past that. Now to start off the mid-table in 12th place, I'm going to be putting Bournemouth. They surprised a lot of people last season. They won games that you didn't expect them to win. They lost games you expected them to win. But if they keep Dominic Solanke, they will be just fine. With Dominic Solanke, I think they can get into 12th place. They might lose some important games, but they will stay in the mid-table. Now in 11th place, I'm going to be putting Fulham FC. I already kind of like Fulham a little bit. They are my third favorite club in the Premier League, and now that Emile Smith-Rowe from Arsenal has joined Fulham, I like them all the more. I have hope for Fulham. I may be putting them in a place that they probably will not even get to it. They might be more realistic in 13th, 12th, 14th, but I'm going to put them in 11th because I think with Emile Smith-Rowe, they have the squad depth to go far. Now in 10th place, I'm going to be putting Brighton. I'm not sure if Brighton will even get to 10th place, but I think they can, even though their managers did switch and they've lost some key players, but they are making some decent transfers, so I have nothing more to say except Brighton in 10th. Now in 9th place, I'm going to be putting West Ham United. I think that Jared Bowen is getting a little bit old, and they might lose Paqueta, their best player. This might really hurt West Ham United, and I think they will, if they're lucky, they will get 9th. Now in 8th place, just missing out of European football, is going to be Newcastle. I have nothing more to say for Newcastle except that their manager is great, but they're losing some really key players, and so they'll be getting 8th. Now in 7th, just barely getting European football in the Europa Conference League, will be Aston Villa. I think Aston Villa really surprised us this past year getting into the Champions League. They had some really good players. However, with the loss of Douglas Luiz to Juventus and the distraction of Champions League football, I think they'll not be pushing as far in the Premier League. They will lose some games because their focus is diverted to the Champions League, because they're there for the first time in a very long time. They will get 7th. I think in 6th place, getting Europa League spot, will be Manchester United. Now I know all those Man United fans saying, glory, glory, Man United, whatever, whatever. However, you'll be getting 6th. Mark my words. You keep blabbing on, oh, the transfers are so good, we're cooking. No, you're not. You're Man United. You're going to fall. You're going to sack your manager, and you're going to be in chaos in the middle of the season. 6th place. In 5th place will be Spurs. You guys will always say you win the Premier League in October. Yeah, you win the October Premier League, but you will bottle it because you're bottle job, Spurs. You do have good players like Heung-min Son and James Maddison, but other than them, you're just rubbish. Deal with it. 5th place. In 4th place, in Champions League football, will be Chelsea. Chelsea will finally be back in the Champions League. Not saying they belong there. They had a horrendous season last year, but they happen to make in some decent transfers, including Neto. So I think Chelsea will make a push, and they will barely get Champions League football, even though they will have a few scares along the way. In 3rd place in the Champions League will be Liverpool. Liverpool just changed managers. Jurgen Klopp, who is a long-time, really good manager for Liverpool, has said his goodbyes, and it's a new manager, and I don't think they can push for the title like they did this past year. They will be focusing on Champions League, and they will be getting 3rd place. Now in 2nd place, 2 options left, Arsenal and Man City. Will Arsenal stop bottling it and win the Premier League? or will Man City win the fifth Premier League for the fifth year in a row? I think Man City gets second. Arsenal are done bottling the Premier League. I'm an Arsenal fan, and Arsenal will win the Premier League. Man City will be getting second. Call me biased all you want. I think Man City are getting second, and they are. Man City are finally going to get second. They are not winning 5 in a row. We won't let them. The allegations won't let them. Nothing will let them. For the first time in 20 years, Arsenal will be winning the Premier League. They'll finally win it. They'll stop bottling it, and they will beat Man City. They've had some good transfers, and if Arsenal get a striker this season, there is no doubt they win the Premier League. However, if they do not get a striker, it will be a lot more close, and I'll be a lot more scared that Man City could win the Premier League. But I'm standing true to my word. Arsenal, first place. Champions of the Premier League. Champions. So there you guys have it. These are my Premier League predictions of the 24/25 season. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like and subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments.